Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Bobby switches out at Everett's intervention in Thed.AS office. Melinda whizzed at Sloane over the phone not to call her presently. Melinda verified that Rafe had questioned her. When there was a knock on the office door, Melinda precipitously ended her phone call. Rafe walked by. I was just telling that A.D.A. How important I am, looking forward to working with you again, Melinda said. I will go, you were, Rafe said. Rafe explained that he'd further questions. The further I allowed about it, the lower your explanation made sense, Rafe said. Rafe asked Melinda why she hadn't known that the relinquishment had fallen through. You do not suppose that Sloane was motivated to keep me in the dark? Melinda asked. So, the relinquishment agency no way got in touch with you? Rafe asked. Melinda stressed that after Sloane had taken over the relinquishment arrangements, the agency had had no reason to talk to Melinda. And Sloane taking over just meant one lower thing on my plate, Melinda added. Melinda asked Rafe what motive she'd have had to give Nicole's baby to Sloane. I mean, the threat alone to my career, my character, and the ever-revengeful Demaras. We are talking madness, Melinda argued. After Rafe left, Melinda heaved a big shriek of relief. Man, I am good, Melinda rumored. Leo was working on his laptop at the cafe in the forecourt. No offense, Everett, but the quality of writing at The Spectator has really gone down the last couple of months. But that's about to change, starting moment, Leo said. As Leo started to class, Eric walked up. Eric told Leo that Sloane had told him everything. About? Leo asked. About Jude, who you knew all along ways.j. And Nicole's son and what you used to blackmail her, Eric said. Confused, Leo said, she told you about that? Eric said Sloane had told her everything before she had faded. Do you know where she went? Eric asked. Leo said no. Upset, Leo asked if Sloane had run off with Jude. Jude is where he belongs. When I learned the verity, I took him right to Nicole Andy.j, Eric said. Leo called Eric honorable. Eric explained that when he'd returned home to deal with Sloane, she had formerly left town. However, I would tell you, Leo said, if I knew where she was. Eric didn't believe Leo. Look, I tried to do the right thing, further than formerly, Leo protested. Yeah, right, Eric lumbered. Leo reminded Eric that he'd nearly said commodity at the christening. Nearly. Eric yelled. Leo admitted that he'd been a sissy, but that he'd been making an attempt to be more noble and honest. Eric seized Leo's shirt and pulled Leo close to his face. You do not got a noble bone in your body, Eric said through gritted teeth. Eric released Leo's shirt. You sat on the story. You kept from publishing it because you did not want to kill the goose that laid the golden egg, Eric said. Leo stressed that the day he'd learned the verity about the baby, he'd gone directly to J. And Nicole. They wouldn't hear to me, Leo said. So, you went to Sloane rather? You took our plutocrat to keep your mouth shut? Eric asked. Leo explained that he'd lost Dimitri and had been hopeless. Angry, Eric seized Leo's shirt collar again. Leo called out to Rafe for help. What is going on then? Rafe asked. Eric released Leo. Get out of my sight, Eric growled. Leo seized his stuff and ran off. Eric apologized to Rafe for having lost his temper. I cannot say I condemn you, Rafe admitted. Eric explained that he'd hoped Leo could lead him to Sloane, but it had been a dead end. We are not giving up, Rafe promised. Eric jounced yes. Chancing her isn't going to make me a father again, Eric said. Rafe gentled Eric on the shoulder, and he said that chancing Sloane would help with Eric's grief. With a shake of his head, Rafe informed Eric that he'd questioned Melinda, and he was amazed that Melinda hadn't been a part of the relinquishment handoff of the baby. Stunned, Eric noted that Melinda had handed them the baby. Why did not I see this sooner, Eric said. This means that Trask knew all along. That she knew that Jude was Nicole's baby, Rafe said. Leo marched into Melinda's office, and she heaved a frustrated shriek. I just ran into Eric Brady, who told me that Sloane confessed everything, also hit the unheroic slip-up road to Nowheresville. Leo said. Melinda verified that she had formerly talked to Rafe. Leo argued that everyone knew he'd blackmailed Sloane, and they knew why. Your problem, not mine, Melinda said. Leo asked Melinda to help him. Melinda promised to deflect Rafe's focus. The only person who can truly prove that you were blackmailing Sloane is Sloane. And she's long gone, Melinda said. After Leo left, Rafe returned to Melinda's office. What now? Melinda said. You prevaricated to me, Rafe said. Rafe said he'd evidence of Melinda's guilt, and he arrested her. In the DiMera living room, E.J. talked to Jude about giving the baby a new name, commodity befitting the family you now proudly represent. Because biology be damned. I am your daddy now, not Eric Brady, and your mammy will no way know else, E.J. said. E.J. said it would be their little secret. Nicole walked by. What secret? Nicole asked. With a grin, E.J. said he'd been talking to his son about a new name. Nicole asked why. Eric and Sloane chose the name. Do not you want to reserve that pleasure for ourselves? E.J. asked. I kind of like Jude. Well, he's used to it, anyway, Nicole said. E.J. reminded Nicole that Jude was a baby and would not know the difference. If you are adamant. I mean, you're his daddy, Nicole said. E.J. said, I'm indeed. E.J. blazoned that he was taking the baby out for a walk. After E.J. left, Sloane slipped into the living room through the theater door. Hello, Nicole, Sloane said. Sloane advised Nicole to keep her distance. Really? How long were you staying there? Were you staying for J? To leave? Nicole asked. Sloane shook her head no. I am not upset about E.J., Sloane said. Nicole growled, if you come within 12 paces of my baby, I'll kill you. Sloane explained that she was there to see Nicole, not Jude. There's commodity that you have to hear, Sloane said. Sloane explained that she had started to walk down, but she had realized that she couldn't live with herself if she didn't face Nicole. That is the only reason you cannot live with yourself? Nicole yelled. Nicole blazoned that she'd call Rafe so that Sloane could make her concession. Sloane asked Nicole to stay. I'm so sorry. Profoundly sorry. I lament all the pain that you've suffered. I do. But you need to hear and know I did not plan it, Sloane said. Nicole scarfed. Sloane explained that Dimitri had shown up on her doorstep with Jude right after Sloane had had a confinement and a failed relinquishment. Nicole moaned. I had hit bottom. And also all of unforeseen, a baby showed up in my home. It felt like it was fate, Sloane said. Nicole punched Sloane. I merited that, Sloane admitted. You earned further than that, Nicole said. With a shriek, Nicole reminded Sloane that she had supported Sloane after her confinement because Nicole had been through the pain herself. I lost 2 babies before Jude. And when he was born, it was a phenomenon. And also, it came at agony because of you. Nicole yelled. Nicole argued that because of Sloane's falsehoods, she had missed the first 6 months of her son's life. And I'm not the only bone. Who suffered? Your hubby. Your awful hubby, who has only wanted a child his entire life. One want, Sloane. And when he eventually got that want, the child he allowed was ripped from his hands, Nicole said. And mine. Sloane combated. Nicole screamed at Sloane that the baby didn't need Sloane. When I allowed Jude was my son, you made me out to be a lunatic. And when I stole him from the Horton Town Square that day, because you negligently left him alone, you made me grovel for remission.